Welcome to part 4 in my, welcome to part 3 in my 4-part series on doing an online course. Today we're going to talk about editing, setting your standard styles for it. If you want to find the links to the other videos, you'll find them below, and I have full written posts over on Paid Memberships Pro. You can find links to all that below in the video description as well, or if you're watching this on the Paid Memberships Pro site, you can see it right below. First video, we talked about deciding what you should teach. The second video, we talked about medium of delivery. In this third video today, we're going to talk about starting your video editing. This is not going to be an in-depth video editing video. This is going to be about how to think about video editing, how to get started, how to make it easy on yourself right from the beginning. If you are looking for the basic gear you need to do video, then you need to look at my second post where I make some recommendations on just the standards you need. One thing you can remember really easily is my iPhone. I use my iPhone all the time for video. I use it all the time for video. I use it all the time for my B-roll. I filmed a lot of videos on it at the beginning of my YouTube channel, at the beginning of my video stuff. It's great. If you have a fairly modern smartphone, that's a 13 Pro, but I did it on SE2. I did it on a 6 Plus. If you have a fairly modern smartphone, you're just good to go with your video. First thing you need to remember when you are doing your video is that you need to establish a standard look. The introduction video for most of my courses is 2 to 5 minutes, and it may take me an entire day to edit that video, mostly because I am establishing a standard look. I'm deciding what my slides will look like, I'm deciding what fonts I'm going to use, I'm deciding what transitions I'm going to use, and I'm really going over the video. And I may edit it and render it multiple times or have multiple copies of the video in slightly different styles, with slightly different music, with slightly different everything, till I find the one that I really like for this course that fits well. If you really spend time to dig into this and do this really well, then the rest of your videos are going to take almost half as much time to, maybe even less, a quarter of the time to edit, because you know what transitions you're going to use. You've already established your standard style. Something to remember here is the first course I did, I was like super happy with the edits, and then I looked at everyone else's course and said they're all using the same standard titles and styles that I'm using. I need to not do that in the future. I need to do just a little bit of work to make my course look good on its own, to have its own style that's just a little bit away from everything else. For my second course, I purchased some standard transitions and some standard titles and some standard stuff from Rob HK on YouTube because I was using LumaFusion on my iPad to edit at that point. I'm sure many people use this, but many less people use that than the standard transitions that you find in LumaFusion. For my most recent courses, I actually have a year-long membership to Motion Array. I use that on a lot of my videos on YouTube as well. And I find transitions in there that I feel fit the theme of the course or how I'm feeling at that moment. And I just stick with those. I don't reinvent the wheel. I'm not a designer of transitions. I stick with what Motion Array has for me, and I use those transitions, those titles, those styles for my entire course once I've established it with the first video. Whichever software you use, you can find Motion Array, you can go to Video Hive, you can find lots of different things, and then you can use the transitions there. Don't reinvent the wheel. Buy something that you like, that looks nice, save yourself some time. The other crucial part of having a good video is having a good thumbnail, because thumbnails entice people. The time I spend on YouTube thumbnails is insane. And I'm sure I could spend more based on what I hear other people are doing. So again, I am not a designer, so I don't worry about that as well. What I do is I go to Canva. I have a Canva membership, and I will pick a stock template from there, and then I will adjust it as needed to fit what I need right now. And then I will produce those thumbnails for each video so that each video has its standard thumbnail. I've actually even done a really good job of doing it in video, and then I just take a screen grab of that single video frame with the title, and I put that at the beginning of every video that I have. Another crucial step in even the video editing process is having really clean audio. This starts with having a good mic, right? I'm using the Rode Video Micro up here, and I made some more recommendations in my second video on this. But even processing your audio, something I use still on my iPad regularly is Bruce Free, and I use Bruce Free to process audio, and it just does a really good job to take the silence out of it. So I usually leave a small space at the beginning of my audio, and I'll even do it here. You can hear it unsilenced right now. So you have some buzz, and then the rest of it you'll notice that I have silence. So again, here is the silenced audio. That processing only takes me a couple extra minutes to do, and it's absolutely worth it for every video. Yes, some tools are available inside Final Cut, inside Premiere, inside DaVinci Resolve, but you're going to do better with Isotope, very expensive, or Bruce Free on your iPad. Bruce Free also has a Mac app that's actually quite inexpensive now as well. So take a second just to process your audio, even though you've already done some work on it, right? I've hung curtains here and I have a moving blanket behind my desk to help dampen the audio in here, but you're still going to pick up room buzz. You're still going to pick up something. And so make sure you do that step to silence your audio, to do a little bit of audio cleanup so that you have better videos. People will put up with worse audio or with worse video than they will with worse audio. So you can have bad video and good audio, and people will watch your videos still. Outputting and hosting your files. While I record in 4K right now, I'm really only outputting in around 1080p. Most people are never going to be viewing it in 4K. So I have a 4K monitor, but I actually watch most of my video content on my iPad. So I never see it in 4K. You're also going to have huge file sizes for 4K video, and then your video hosting budget is going to need to go up. I like to host on Vimeo, and to stay under their 20 gig a month upload limit for my tier of plan, I actually always use 1080p, and that gets me well inside, say for a 20 video course, gets me well inside my upload limit without many issues. Now we're going to recommend some editing software. You don't need a fancy video camera to record. You really don't need fancy editing software. On an iPad or a Mac, you can actually go with iMovie if you really need to. It'll be fine at the beginning. It'll do the stock transitions, use the stock stuff, but you can get a course out, maybe start earning some money, and then start upgrading what you're going to do in your editing process. Now, for all platforms, Vimeo even actually makes an online video editor that you can use. So you don't even need to buy anything. I'm sure there's other options out there, but Vimeo is a source that I would trust to look at their online video editor. Even through my demos of it, it actually works pretty well. Now, if you're looking for a bit of an upgrade, here are my suggestions. If you're on an iPad, if you have an iPad around, reasonably modern iPad, then you are going to be okay with LumaFusion. It is cheap to get into, it's inexpensive, and it is quite a high-powered video editor now. If you're dealing with HDR footage, you're going to have some trouble. If you're dealing with really long videos, really big files, you're going to have some trouble maybe based on the storage of your iPad. But otherwise, it's really nice. And as I've already mentioned, if you're going to get LumaFusion, also get Bruce Free just to silence your audio and take some of your room noise out. On a Mac, if you're on an M1-based Mac, LumaFusion still is an excellent option. It just works right away in there. I've edited videos that were on my iPad, pulled them out, and done them on my Mac without any issues whatsoever. So feel free to use LumaFusion as well. You can also look at the Adobe products or Final Cut. I went with Final Cut. It works better on the M1 Max. It's faster than Adobe Premiere. You can also look at DaVinci Resolve as well, which is free. I've looked at it a few times. Feels a little burly. A lot of details in there if you're not familiar with video editing programs. So you're going to have to really dig in. Final Cut definitely feels easier than DaVinci Resolve does, although some people would say there's a lot more power in DaVinci Resolve if you're really going to get into the editing process. Like I said, for denoising audio, I still use Bruce Free on my iPad. I just haven't sprung for the Mac version yet, even though it's actually not that expensive. A lot of people also like the iZotope products. They're very expensive. If you are just getting started, don't look at them. They're going to be far more than what your budget probably holds. They're supposed to be very good, but Bruce Free on the iPad for 20 bucks or something years ago, perfectly fine. Really, that's it for producing your video course. Number one, establish a standard style, spend a lot of time on that, and then just stick with it. Denoise your audio, spend a bit of time making sure that you are outside of the standard by purchasing a transition pack or a title pack or something from some other service, and then just produce your videos. Make sure you keep those videos tight. Make sure you, even a video that you thought was one video, make sure you break it up into two if it feels like it's going too long. And make sure you actually throw in some B-roll so that you can keep people's interest. Like you've seen through this, I've shown you other things outside of just me sitting here talking. If you like this video, thumbs up below. If you loved it, subscribe, hit the bell. YouTube will let you know something happened. You can support me by taking a course, curtismchale.ca/membership. Members get my courses, curtismchale.ca/education to take a single course. Next video is going to talk all about marketing your course so that you can, get members coming in. Have an excellent day.